I don't know if this is TMI, but my friend literally got stabbed.
What?
It's not funny.
It's a coping mechanism. It's the way you said it.
What's your name?
Anthony. Voshanath.
Hi, I'm Dina.
My name is Aman.
My name is Nikita.
So my name's Hazel Jane.
My name is Nadine.
How long have you been here in Australia?
About 2 years now, close to.
Yes, sir.
For me, it's about 1.5 years.
Just over 6 years. Yeah.
I've been in Australia for a little over a year.
Been here for over a year now.
I just came here in February.
I've only been here for 2 months and it's been going pretty well.
What motivated you guys to come to Australia?
So for me, I didn't want to come to Australia. It was mostly my dad. Asian parents. I wanted to come to the US. But of course, my dad was like, you're gonna die there. Because it was peak like COVID.
Yeah.
And so it was also peak like Asian hate. And so, yeah, he was like, it's too dangerous there, blah, blah, blah. So you should just come to Australia because it's closer to us. And so I'm here.
I used to work as a teacher, and I was looking to go into university, and I wanted to study something aside from early childhood. And I couldn't get into any courses in Singapore in the local universities because it's so f***ing hard. Trying to get into NUS is trying to get into Harvard.
Right.
That's the comparison level I'm going to give. Since I have family here, here will be a good option to consider, which is why I came to Australia.
What made me choose Australia the most was I've been here before, and I was like, oh, I like the culture, plus the sports.
Okay.
The sports was like, oh.
Do you play any?
Yeah, play anything I can get my hands on.
That's nice.
Cricket, football,
That's very
tennis.
So I wanted to study accounting, and after COVID, I wanted a place which is very peaceful and, more inclined with nature. I loved sea, but I did not want to move to Bombay in India. So I thought it's a good opportunity to take an international experience.
India's standard of education is great, but it's just the method that they use to educate their youth, I think could improve. I like in Australia, Canada, and the US especially, the way that they have their education systems. It's more so that they challenge you to find solutions to the problems that they have. Right. It's not just here's the data, learn this by heart. It's not reciting, exactly. So I like that here I'm forced to kind of pick my brain and research, use the tools.
Think of the process of coming here. What was the biggest challenge?
I remember my first landlady, she was Vietnamese. We had language barrier, but even then she helped me a lot with the accommodation. Okay. It was a temporary accommodation. And I think the challenge would be finding a permanent one.
Job hunting was tough. Finding a place to live was tough.
Finding accommodation, trying to live day-to-day life with the cost of living going up.
It's a similar story with me as well. The cost of living is going up. You have your uni workload on top of that as well, so you need to manage everything.
The hardest thing is that because we are so new in this country, they are not willing to give us accommodation because they don't know us. So and if you want to find, you'll be paying a pretty penny for it.
So I applied for 10 places and all 10 of them rejected me.
Right.
And then it ended up being another Sri Lankan who reached out to me and then said that there's a place here, you can stay here.
It was hard to adjust to the culture here.
There's not so much a challenge, but I think the challenge would be back home, it's really easy to find food that I love, anywhere that I go.
Yeah.
And over here it's just quite different. You have to specifically try out different places.
Okay.
Which I guess comes with the terrain of being in a new place.
Do you miss your family back home?
Of course, yeah. I think the only thing that calls me back is the family.
Yeah, during the holidays.
Yeah.
Definitely miss home.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes during festivals, yesterday it was Ganesh Chaturthi. And it's a big festival for me, my most favorite one. So yesterday I did miss house.
All the time. Some days it's harder than others because now I've only been here 2 months, so the homesickness comes in small bouts. There's some days that are harder than the others, but I know, I can feel it inside that as the days go by and I live here longer, that it's going to just become stronger.
At the 6 months mark in August, I did.
Yeah.
I really do.
Did you cry?
I cried for other reasons. But yes,
What,
I cried. No, I cried to my friends saying that I miss them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yourself?
No.
You don't miss them?
I'm fine. I feel like people who misses home usually misses their family or friends, but it's with technology, I just call them every day.
Right.
So it's not so much of oh my god, I've been seeing you forever. I talk to them still every day.
How did you deal with loneliness? Because I know everyone faces that.
And just go out and make as many friends as you can initially, and then after a while learn how to filter them through. Sit with as many people as you can. You get out of your comfort zone, because nothing grows in comfort zone, right? So you got to get out of your comfort zone, go meet as many people as you can. After you have a chunk of people in your life, decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you don't want to keep. See which ones are valuable for you, which ones are not.
How easy is it to make local friends here, say like Australian?
In order to make friends, you need to be very outgoing. If you are an introvert, you might feel it's a little difficult in the beginning because conversation starters.
Yeah.
But if you talk about locals, the easiest conversation starter is how was your weekend if it's Monday, and what are your weekend plans if it's a Thursday or a Friday.
Local friends are easier to make than what I had originally thought.
Okay.
But then again, we are Monash, so like a lot of people are much more focused on their studies. But there are so many opportunities here for you to go and meet people and talk to people.
My best friend at the moment she's Australian, and I love her so much. And yes, actually really easy once you put yourself out there.
So you've got to take the step. You've got to take the first step.
Yeah, for sure.
With university and the way it's structured, like we go to different classes, we have different units. And in the first semester, when you first arrive, you're like pretty much alone unless you have already made friends.
Okay.
Or you go to class and make friends.
Yes.
Which is how I made most of my friends. But a lot of my friends also happen to be like fellow international students.
Okay.
But I think when I properly immerse myself in joining like a school club, this kind of like social like situations that you choose to put yourself in, it's very helpful for you to like meet new people in like a different way as compared to just going to classes.
It depends. Like there's a lot of events that you can go for, but you have to balance both when it comes to studies. You can't really go for every event, but you can go for events here and there.
Right.
And then it does help if you have friends from your home country as well come with you. So like that you can grow your network and
Okay.
social connections.
Tell me the biggest challenge you faced since moving to Australia.
Figuring out a footing really, because I mean I really like Australia. Like I said, I don't really have a home as such because of the fact that I was raised in a different place. I come from a different place. So for me, I feel like a traveler in the wind. I'm trying to find a place where I can put a flag and say, okay, this is home.
The culture shock,
Yeah. What
that
about
was
it?
quite different than what we are used to at home. When we're here, we have a lot of things to balance out, and you know everyone back home. So here you don't know.
And your
anyone.
parents do everything for you, right?
Yeah, and like try to manage everything is gonna be a bit more tough because you're all alone. You have a couple of friends here there you talk to, and you don't get to meet them as often.
Getting a full-time job, I prioritized it very much. And that was again a good thing and a bad thing because that was my priority. All I could think of was that.
So the biggest challenge was the cultural shock, just adjusting to people because, so back in India, we grew up watching American shows.
Same, yeah.
So we adapt a mindset of that American culture, but when we come over here, it is similar, but it has its own peculiarities. The other biggest thing was just homesickness. Because I'm the only child and just managing my own finances because I was 17 when I came here. Coming over here gives you the biggest challenge of adulting before adulthood actually starts.
I think it's managing the workload because it's Monash University. There's like a lot of studying, and then it's very hard to make friends in class as well to like kind of help out with our assignments and stuff. So that was one big challenge that I faced.
Anything that you learned from all the challenges that you faced?
When my mom came here to visit, she pointed out that, like, wow, you're so much more like outgoing now. And I'm like, I think you're right. She's probably right.
And you're not at all conscious in front of the camera, both of you.
Huh? That's a question.
I learned that like it's so important for you to stay on top of things because just 1 week you're sick and you'll lose track and it could really hurt your studies a lot.
Independence.
Yeah.
Independence and just being your own individual. And I've also learned the biggest skill that no matter what situation life puts you in, you'll just be fine. Eventually you'll be fine. Once you get out of it, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's just a phase.
Just a phase, yeah.
It's just a phase.
That's a very wise thing to say, man.
Your friends here will be your family.
Okay.
So it's very important to, choose good friends over just people you know.
I think discipline and staying on top of things, and that's one thing I've learned from here. Yeah.
I think learning to be more independent in ways that I previously thought I couldn't be. And also like learning to like redefine what it means to be close to like someone. Like coming here and making friends was like a big major concern of mine. And I was like feeling quite lonely in the first part as well. So I realized that as I changed my mindset around how I wanted to approach like interpersonal connections, those like connections also started coming in a bit more. I wasn't like, overthinking stuff as much. So I feel like it's just it's personal development.
And you can't get that in your home country because you're in a comfort zone.
When you're comfortable, like everything's just there.
Everything's
Your
there.
family's there, your friends are there, the resources you need are there. You don't need to like change anything.
At all.
I think even if you don't have the right tools or you're not prepared in that moment, it's fine. Because I was the person, I still sort of am sometimes, where if I feel like I haven't done my best, or I feel like I've missed an opportunity, or I feel like, oh, I should have been better prepared to deal with a specific challenge, I get very disheartened and I sulk and I sit in that moment and I don't really see, okay, what can I do next?
Yeah.
I think building grit and resistance is more important alongside just honing your inherent talents, because you could hone your inherent talent, but if you're someone that doesn't have the ferocious attitude of saying, okay, you know what, this didn't work out, now I'm going to do it I do it again.
How expensive is Australia?
For an international student, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
You're roughly looking at around $2,500 a month
Right.
with accommodation as it is.
And you can work only 20 hours a week, right?
Yes.
And now it's expensive. Earlier it wasn't as much.
I think it's a little struggle to meet the ends meet. Being an accounting student, I do manage my finances in a little better way than someone else would.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a struggle for me now. But when I was new, yes.
Okay.
The house market was skyrocket, like the prices were too much. And the wages are minimum wages when you start your job.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, yeah. Part-time jobs just isn't enough.
What about you? Do you find Australia expensive?
I do find it expensive, but I guess like in some way it's helped me to learn to like
Budget.
budget a bit better, but also not any better.
Would you recommend coming to Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
1 year ago, I was a different person. Today, I'm very different from what I was. I've started to accept rejections very well now. I couldn't do that few years ago. I would be like, why am I rejected? I would just drop the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you will start learning new things about yourself. You'll start improving.
Yeah.
And of course, exploring Australia is so beautiful.
For me, Australia is a very chill country. If you want, you can come in. But I would recommend them looking at every other opportunity as well. Just don't come here because it's Australia. Just have a look around, maybe New Zealand and other countries as well.
Okay.
For the experience of gaining a multicultural, global mindset and coming to work and study here really gives you an edge over the rest of the competition.
If they're looking to just study, yes. But if they're looking to settle and maybe build a future career-wise, and if they've never lived away from home, I would tell them to speak to people who are here, get connected online somehow, just so that you're not taken by surprise when you get here. Because for me, okay, like I said, I have friends who've been here, so I kind of knew what to expect before getting here, but a lot of my peers who didn't do that sort of background check are now kind of stuck in this aftershock of the struggle of living in a country where you don't have the right network to find a job, to find accommodation.
I love Australia. I wouldn't want to live in another country permanently, other than India or Australia. But I love Australia. I feel like home here.